guys, welcome to Tuesday. We've got a lot of esports news that's happened this week. I think the thing that's on everybody's mind right now is Life. Do we have anybody that can kind of take me through what happened with that situation?
Well, yeah, so he's just been arrested at this point. We don't know if he's been convicted of anything as of yet. They're working on the case right now, so we get the news as it happens. So.
This has been part of a larger story that's happened with match fixing in SC2, right?
They disbanded back in late October because of the match fixing, which was under investigation, and then it came to light, and it was a bunch of nine different people. So it was, I believe, 3 players, and then a bunch of coaches and other people involved in the scene.
So how does this impact the entire scene for StarCraft II?
Well, it's not like match fixing in StarCraft is anything new.
Yeah, so but that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, we've had recent retirements as well of players that are just at the end of their journey in StarCraft at this point. So there are new players currently flushing in as well. But in terms of the Korean scene, there's still a series of top 10 players. There's Byun, there's SOS, and there's Hero, and there's multiple others as well in the scene. So it is affected in this way negatively, but there are still people doing what they do in the scene.
The thing that strikes me about this is that, like, I don't think this is necessarily like this is so bad for the competitive StarCraft scene, because like this is a thing that happens, and despite Life being a big name, there are other big names. I think kind of the issue for StarCraft here is that like this is the biggest StarCraft news in months, and sort of the only StarCraft news that has hit across not mainstream, but across like other esports, other people who follow other esports paying attention. Like this is a thing that's been noticed and picked up on.
You sort of expect somebody who's engaged in match fixing might not be at like a super high level player. It has happened sometimes, but you know, like in Counter-Strike, a lot of the teams that have sort of been a part of that issue have been a little bit like lower tier teams, but like Life was a good player. Yeah, so for me, that's a big surprise, honestly.
Yeah, it's all alleged though at this point.
Yeah.
Like he's still like there's still a lot of investigation to go. So I am curious to see what details come out from this, because this is not the last we'll have heard of this story.
Yeah. So I mean, talking about Life, he had a pretty good 2015. A lot of people had a pretty good 2015. Who do you guys think kind of wears the crown for the MVP of all of 2015? Most important esports person or player?
Sumail, hands down. Just one DAC. One TI5, the biggest the biggest TI in history, biggest prize pool in esports history so far.
I'm going to be League of Legends elitist here, and I'm going to say it's SK Telecom as a team. They're the first 2-time world champions.
Okay, but I need you to pick. Like, you're going to pick Faker or Bengi?
Of course I'm going to pick Faker, man. Like,
you don't want to give Bengi?
What question is that?
Like,
I'm going to pick Faker.
For me, it's like, just from my perspective, it's like, I think it's Armada. When Evo started, like he won like 6 major tournaments in a row, and Melee has become the question, as opposed to about a year ago, which was which of the gods will win. It is who can beat Armada this week.
I'm going to jump back to League of Legends. I'm actually going to say that it's not Faker, it's actually Gorilla is the MVP for 2015. When the GE Tigers, KU Tigers, Rox Tigers, whenever they were at their lowest, he was their best, and whenever they were at their best, he was fantastic. He was just incredibly reliable. And also his Twitter game is 100% on.
So you're giving him the Twitter
shout out to Gorilla for both his play and his cats.
Do we have any early runners for this year? I know it's a pretty new year, but anybody want to throw a name out?
For 2016?
Yeah, that's the current year,
CSGO, it's got to be coldzera. Luminosity Gaming were barely like a top 10 team last year. When he joined the team, he like revolutionized the way that team plays. He's never gone negative in any tournament so far in his career on Luminosity Gaming, which is insane if you think about how they're not winning these tournaments. Like they're not winning these tournaments, and he's not negative statistically. It's insane. I think he's gonna overtake Olaf as the best player in 2016.
Paul, of all the players on Luminosity Gaming, coldzera's super good, but you gotta look to Fallen as well as a phenomenal in-game leader. He's pulled that team together, hand-picked players, made sure that they have the proper communication structure and the proper strats. I think Fallen is currently the MVP of that team, if coldzera is just slightly behind him.
I would agree that Fallen definitely has made that team, like the team structure has definitely fallen under Fallen's into Fallen's lap, and he's taken a he's definitely the best in-game leader. But I think if you're talking impact-wise, frag-wise, just overall skill-wise, I think coldzera is just on another level compared to everybody else in the playing field. including Fallen.
That's actually a pretty good jump-off point for the next thing I want to talk about. You saying Luminosity, like they're not the favorites going into these tournaments. They're still doing decently and kind of improving. What are your best underdog stories from all of 2015?
We'll stay on the subject of Luminosity Gaming. Luminosity Gaming, DreamHack Winter, towards the end of 2015, they beat a truly ridiculous amount of teams, and it was just right after they had their roster switch to bring in Taco and to bring in FNX. They hadn't even practiced that much. And this is a team that wears their heart on their sleeves. It's impossible not to root for them. And that event, they showed that they could potentially be a top 5 team in the world.
At Leipzig, they came in second, just losing out to Navi. Yeah, so might be a good year for them.
The crazy thing about that tournament, DreamHack Winter and Luminosity Gaming, is that they started that tournament getting 16-0'd by Fnatic. That was the start of that tournament. They made these changes literally last second. They beat like 3 of the top 5 teams in the world in that tournament, and that was pretty much when I think everybody realized, holy crap, Luminosity is really good at CSGO.
What about Vega Squadron, who beat the reigning TI5 champions at ESL New York?
That was kind of an odd tournament. Just like nobody expected Vega to turn up at that tournament. It was the first major tournament after TI, and of course EG, the champions there, were the favorites. And they actually got, I think, knocked out during the semis, which is kind of a weird thing. But a little birdie told me that they underperformed because a certain player's arm was not up to snuff. He was acting up again.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm an EG fanboy. I'm gonna.
All right, I think that's a good spot to end. So, thanks guys. Get back to work.